Greetings, viewers. Night here, back from BronyCon. I really don't look fondly back on the first BronyCon vid I did, so let's see if this one turns out any better. Let me tell you right now that prepping for the trip to Baltimore was insane. Every day before the flight, I will go back to myself. Is this the day I leave? Is this the day I leave? Oh god, I hope I don't miss the flight. What day do I leave? Me being in a rock spaz, basically. Then I had to go around the house, making sure I'd packed everything I would be taking with me. Clothes, food, drink, medicine for my ADD, books for the flight, which I never read, and the stuff needed for our costume my friend Seasonal Wiccan was putting together for me. A red wig, a white fox mask, a pair of white socks, sandals, and a rubber katana. Speaking of the katana, I got stopped several times at con when I finally got there because security was convinced that it was real. I pretty much had to show them that it was made of rubber before they would let me go. But come on, do you really think airport security would let someone with a sword get through? Now, while pretty much everyone I knew had left for the con on Monday or Wednesday, I had to go Thursday, and it felt incredibly lonely not being around the folks I usually hang out with. I got up at 4 a.m. in the morning and had to get dressed in the dark, then had to go through the usual procedures at the airport. When it finally came time to board the plane, I felt everything was going to be smooth sailing. And then the pilot told us that one of the engines hadn't been fueled properly. Considering that weeks prior, I'd heard about engine malfunctions on an airplane, hearing that pretty much put me in paranoid mode. I eventually calmed down after an hour into the flight, but I also kept telling myself if I was going to travel across country in future, that it was going to be by train. At least with a train, you don't have to worry about the thing falling out of the sky. After a 3-hour flight, my plane landed and I got to the Renaissance Hotel probably around 11. Then I had to wait for like a half hour for Season and the Watchful Pony to come get me so I could get registered for the con. Just when we were ready to go, a huge thunderstorm kicked up outside. And if you know either me or Season, we don't do thunderstorms. There's just something about them that neither of us can deal with. So we had to wait for what felt like another half hour for it to pass. I would have gone myself except for 2 reasons. One, I kind of have a shitty sense of direction, and 2, I wanted to avoid any of those bums that hang around on the sidewalk. When we got to the convention center, it was pretty much organized chaos. I'm talking like an ocean of people, which there had been in 2017, but it was much bigger this time around. Considering that this had been advertised as the last BronyCon, that is an excuse for anyone and everyone who had ever been a Brony to come swarming on down to Baltimore. Or at least that's how I saw it. After getting registered, me, Season, and Watchful decided to go walking around for a while. Going into the vendor hall was out of the question because there was still a massive line, and it was reasonable to think that the hall itself would be chaos due to being so crowded that we might get separated. We mainly walked around the second floor looking to see what we could find and who we could bump into. We ran into Bright Idea, who was shorter than I expected, and Finn the Pony, who was taller than I expected. We also ran into Voice of Reason, which was a pleasant surprise. Apart from Watchful, I really didn't expect any of the big names in the fandom to notice us, especially since Season doesn't really do analysis videos. And apart from maybe Manga Common, not that many people in Brony pay attention to commentary channels. During lunch, we went through the con's guide to see what might be fun. I looked through a bit and saw people that had gotten to be community guests. Folks like Nawaking and Obab Scribbler. Seeing as how the whole center was probably still going to be crazy crowded, we decided to skip the opening ceremonies and head back to the hotel. After lunch, we went into Editor, Crimson Glow, Kanagiri, Prophetic Prose, Twist of Fate, and Aeon of Dreams, who showed us a shortcut to get out of the center. We were also joined by Watchful's roommate Panda, who's gotta have some crazy cash on him because he was able to buy an insane amount of merchandise. There wasn't really much else to do other than hang around in the room shared by Season, Watchful, and a few others. In lieu of the opening ceremonies, we had all decided to go out for a Korean barbecue. It was rather fun to hang around and make jokes, some of which were how Huey had to be babysat because she was the youngest person in the room. We were joined by Ripple Effect, who I've only seen in the same Discord chat we're in, and Pastel Pros. and still was kinda pissed that we had skipped the opening ceremony, but part of that was because, for whatever reason, she'd been walking around in a Baymax costume all day. Once everything had gotten organized, we headed out. It was certainly a different experience for me, since I've never really been to a Korean barbecue before. Apparently there are these little indentations on the table that you can use to cook your own food. The next morning after managing to put on the costume I had packed, me, Season, Watchable, and Twist made our way down to the convention center. It was still kind of packed, but not as badly as the day before. There was still this massive line that we had to stand in for what felt like, I don't know, maybe a half hour or a quarter hour. All I know is that we'd been sitting there long enough for the wig to finally start irritating my head. I had actually wanted to wear the full costume for the full day, but the hairnet was starting to give me a headache, and hair from the wig was starting to get into the mask's eye holes. Cosplayers and anyone else who wears wigs as part of a costume, you have my respect. After a while, we were joined by Ripple, Ed, and Grim, and those two are always a hoot to hang out with. Now, here's where I may be remembering things wrong, so if I am, and when I mention from this point onward, you're free to correct me in the comments. I do remember that we met Fableheart while in line, and she gave me a personalized badge. It was either the first or second day, but I do remember that I saw her twice during the whole convention. When we got into the vendor hall, we were just having a great time, walking around, meeting cool people, and even showing off my sword. At one point, we were approached by Emerald Comet, and after I had reminded him of who I was, he apologized that our planned collab on the Little Mermaid had fallen through, but I told him that it was perfectly fine, and offered to send him my review of the fanfic when I got home. At one point, we were once again joined by Yui and Pros, but also Easy Studios, and also ran into KatyStar, Game Link Reviews, Will Stork and eBay, Buttons, Riley Miller, and I think the voiceover artist Kitty and her boyfriend Rustic Shine. During this little meet and greet, a few of us had decided to go on down to Chick-fil-A for lunch. Only after walking for a while, and seeing we were right outside the Cheesecake Factory, we all just decided to kind of head on in there. Afterwards, we sat in the lobby of the connecting hotel, talking about what we wanted to do later. It was going to be the night of the Grand Galloping Gala, but a few of us agreed that it was likely to be crowded, and it didn't make sense to get all dressed up and walk on down to the convention center on the off chance that that were true, walk all back to the hotel, and get out of all that formal clothing. So we all just agreed to hang out in Season and Watchable's room for the night. Now, only a few of us were going to hang out in that room, while others like Connor and Pros had partners they were going to the gala with. When we got back to the room, we spent it mostly watching channels like Overly Sarcastic Productions, Planet Dolan, and Mr. Beast. After a while, our own personal party started, where we just sat around eating pizza and Chick-fil-A and swapping stories. I can't say Saturday was too eventful, since I think the most we did was sit outside the TF2 panel waiting for it to open, and like a lot of other stuff at the convention, there was a massive line. We did get to meet Artistic Passion and the Map in the line though, and hang out with them until the panel opened. After the panel, I kind of got separated from my group and wandered around until they actually found me again. We really didn't hang around together after lunch, and we all kind of went our separate ways for the day. I kind of went back to the hotel for an hour, then down to Barnes & Noble, before heading back to the convention center, hoping to see someone I knew, like an old artist friend of mine named Bubble Lee. If she was in the vendor hall, I never came across her stand. I was also hoping to come across Fluff Dragon so I could wish her a happy birthday, but no luck there either. After exploring the vendor hall what felt like twice, I decided to head up to the second floor of the convention center, where I came across Fable and Pros who were waiting outside for a D&D thing, and even talked to Spirit Productions for a while. That girl must know some crazy talented people, because the mask of her fursuit has real working eyes and mouth. And speaking of furries, while I was walking around up there, I saw an entire parade of them, just coming from who knew where. During my little solo adventures, I actually passed Fallen Wish in the hall. I really didn't say anything to her, considering that we haven't been on good terms with each other since 2017, and she kinda has me blocked on Twitter, even though I haven't gone out of my way to give her a hard time on that website. After a while, I left the convention center and head back to the hotel, where I waited until 7 because Aria Diamond was holding a big group dinner at the Hard Rock Cafe. The people involved were going to be me and the folks I'd been hanging out at the con with, Aria and her boyfriend, Quillstroke and Eback, Massacre Molly, Evan from Riffing His Magic, Heather Blossom, though I think she kind of dipped out halfway through, Cake Fairy, Gilded Dash, Soldier, and a few people I don't quite remember. In total, it was a party of 30. After dinner, there's a group split into people who went to something called Brony Palooza, and the folks who were heading back to the hotel. The group that were heading back to the hotel included me, Ed and Krim, Twist, Panda, and Molly. Or as I think Ed called us, the Knights of Mischief. Now I get 4 out of 6 of us could fit that description, since my character is a fox, Twist is a puka, and Ed and Krim are Ed and Krim, but what exactly about a panda and Molly are mischievous? I had to head back home on Sunday, and had to go around the room I was in to make sure I wasn't forgetting anything. Now, thankfully, both engines on the plane were properly fueled, but there were also tons of screaming kids on the plane, and I really didn't get any peace and quiet until the first hour had gone by. I attempted to read one of the books I'd gotten at Barnes & Noble, but my mind eventually started to drift. Well, BronyCon might be over, as in over, but there's also the possibility that they might rebrand it to include other fandoms, and it isn't like there aren't other conventions where I could meet these weirdos. All the vectors you've seen in this video belong to their respective owners. You'll find links to their social media below. This is Night saying thanks for letting me share my thoughts. Please share yours with me.